Hello again, friends. Welcome to Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips with Gamecock great Joe Rhett for an NCAA tournament edition of Gamecock Central Radio. The Gamecocks are into the NCAA tournament. After a 13-year drought, the Gamecocks pick up a number 7 seed in the East Regional, and South Carolina will play 10th-seeded Marquette Friday in Greenville, South Carolina. The game scheduled for a 9:50 tip, so it'll be the last game of the day at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville. Joe, Carolina in the field of 68 this year after a 13-year drought. It's been a long time coming.
It has been a long time coming. 5 years ago when Frank first got here, it was just – he came in a bad situation, to be honest with you, taking over a team that Darren Horn left, players transferred at that time, and to see where this program has progressed in the past 5 years, it tells you the type of commitment Frank has to this program, and it tells you the type of coach that he is. And he's proven that he's one of the top coaches in the country. So to take a team like I said, what we had back in 5 years ago to where we are now is a tremendous accomplishment for Frank Martin and his coaching staff.
All right, the Gamecocks are 22-10. Marquette is 19-12. And, Joe, so much to talk about with this NCAA tournament with the bracket coming out yesterday, and not only the tournament as a whole, but the matchups in Greenville. I mean, South Carolina basketball fans are in for a treat in Greenville this weekend. We got 6 games that will take place at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Duke and North Carolina will play in Greenville along with the Gamecocks. So for all the talk about the state of South Carolina not being able to host NCAA tournament games, the removal of the Confederate flag last year has led to what will be an unbelievable opening weekend for basketball fans here in the Palmetto State. Duke, UNC, South Carolina, all playing in Greenville.
Oh, no doubt that you get a treat to see some excellent basketball when you talk about the perennial teams like North Carolina and Duke, and then when you throw in a team that's less than an hour and a half away in South Carolina, it's a tremendous accomplishment for them. Last year we felt that we got snubbed, and I don't know if they gave us a little favor, but we did. I think so to be that close. And Frank spoke on that on yesterday about how unfortunate it is for a team not to have to travel across the country. A lot of teams have to do that, but for them to put us in their favor and keep us this close to home is a great opportunity for not only just the team, but for the fans to be able to be part of something that is really special this year. And that's hopefully getting a win, our first win since 1973.
Yeah, that's right. 44 long years since the Gamecocks won a game in the NCAA tournament, and they'll have a chance to end that drought Friday, 9:45 p.m. tip against Marquette. So, Joe, a couple of questions for you. Are you surprised that the Gamecocks got a 7 seed? I thought that was pretty good considering the Gamecocks lost 6-9 going into the tournament, and South Carolina came into the selection Sunday with an RPI of 43. That would have put them at about a 10 seed, but they end up not only getting a good seed and a 7, they aren't sent very far to play. They get to play in their home state.
Actually, I am. I was thinking that maybe between the 8, 9, 10 seed, and for them to get that 7 seed was a big surprise. And of course, playing in Greenville is also a surprise. So when you look back at the body of work that they did, they won some good games. I think Michigan, when we played them earlier this year, then they win in the Big Ten. That may have helped them a little bit as they RPI. You think about some of the losses that we had towards the end. I don't really consider them, when you look back at it, not really, really bad losses. You think about Arkansas. They lost Arkansas. They lost to Vandy. And you saw how well the Alabama team played towards the end. I mean, they played pretty strong. They was just a matchup problem for us, I think, last week in the tournament. And we saw they played Kentucky well the other night as well. So, we stumbled a little bit toward the end, games that we thought we should have won. But, hey, like I said last week, we hit the reset button. Now, we're in tournament time. And some of these guys, especially the seniors, this is it. You're one and done. If you lose. So hopefully these guys go out there and lay it on the line and take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Joe, Marquette is not exactly red hot coming into the NCAA tournament either. They beat Villanova, which was ranked number 1 in the country, back on January 24th. That game was at Marquette. Marquette beat Nova by 2 points. But since that win, Marquette has gone 5-5. They were in position to get, potentially a much better seed than number 10, but they end up 5-5 down the stretch. They lost to Seton Hall in the Big East tournament, and they end up with a number 10 seed. It's a pretty tough matchup in the opening round for South Carolina. Marquette is the top three-point shooting team in the country, Joe. They shot 43% from three-point distance during the season. That is number one in Division I basketball.
Yeah, and a couple other similar games that they play. I think they played Vandy earlier this year. They beat Vandy by 22 points, and they beat Georgia. So those are some comparable teams that we've beaten also this year. But Marquette is Coach Wojciechowski, former Duke player and a former Duke assistant coach. The way that guy played, he played tremendously hard. So I expect he wants nothing less from those guys. But this will be an interesting matchup because they're one of the top three-point shooting teams out there. And conversely, South Carolina is one of the best defensive teams out there for when you talk about shooting the three ball. And you get a team like that, they're not used to South Carolina defense. We play really, really good on defense. And, down the stretch, you saw that teams actually adjusted us. The SEC, they're so used to us. They've had more film, and they played against us. They played against us last year. They know the type of defense that we play. So they're used to it, and they made adjustments. But now to see us play in the tournament where teams don't know us that well, I think we got a really, really good chance of I wouldn't say surprising these teams, but it's something that you really just can't practice for. So I think if we can go out there and play our tough defense like we have been playing all year, get some new, fresh teams, some new faces, something that they're not used to that you really can't practice for, I think we'll do really well against them. And hopefully, we can get out there and contest and make some denials and take some of their first options away from them that they're not used to. I think we really have a good chance.
9:50 tip Friday for South Carolina and Marquette in the 7-10 matchup in the East Regional, and the winner of that game will get the winner of Duke and Troy, the 2:15 game on Sunday in the round of 32. Gamecock Central Radio NCAA Tournament Report here with Joe Rhett. I'm Emerson Phillips. We invite you to download the Gamecock Central Radio app. We've got this free phone app that allows you to listen to our podcast for free on your cell phone, anywhere you receive cell phone service. You can download the free app on the App Store and on Google Play. And then you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and other popular services, or just visit radio.GamecockCentral.com. So, Joe, Marquette shoots the three better than anybody in the country. The Gamecocks at one point this year were one of the top teams in the country defending the three, but the Gamecocks' defensive numbers against the three kind of slipped late in the year. And a lot of folks said that, the Gamecocks got tired. Teams adjusted, as you said, to the Gamecock defense. Carolina known as a defensive ball club. So how difficult will it be, Joe, to kind of hit the reset button here? Your record at this point can be thrown out. You're into the tournament. That's all that matters. And if you can get hot now, you got a chance to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. So how hard is it going to be for Frank Martin and this Gamecock ball club to hit the reset button, get their legs back under them? They got a week. They got 6 days off to get ready for Marquette. How hard is it going to be, Joe, to get it ramped back up?
It's not hard at all. Fortunately, I was fortunate to be part of the watch party last night, just to see the excitement from these guys. When they got the nod that they were in, at first I thought we was going to be able to sit around for a while and maybe that last pick or something like that, but it came through early, just to see Frank and the coaching staff, be so excited. I mean, it's like they took a big, deep breath and, that they got in, and now they're not excited that they just got in. They're actually they thinking they can win and win a couple games. So, it's only a once in a lifetime thing, like I said before. If they can get in there and do what they need to do, practice hard this week because there's going to be a lot of commitments for them to, a lot of media, probably a lot of fans, a lot of family want to somewhat be a part of this, especially by it being so close. So they're going to have a lot of obligations that they're going to have to try to set aside and stay focused on the task at hand. That is Marquette right now. So, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You got Shindaris, you got Notice, you got Justin Mackey. This is it for them. And if those three guys can't get these guys pumped up, I don't know who can. So I know they don't want to end their season right now. What helps a lot is Frank has been there. With K-State, he's been there before. He knows what to expect. So he would definitely have these guys ready and ready to go on Friday.
All right, South Carolina opened as a 2.5-point favorite over Marquette. That line has already dropped to 1 or 1.5, depending on where you look. Early action on Marquette, whatever that's worth. Joe, talk about how you came to be invited to watch the watch party with the team yesterday. I know before we started the podcast today, you said that Frank Martin reached out to some former players and invited former Gamecocks to come be a part of the watch party, and you got to do that yesterday. Tell us about it.
Well, that's what Frank is, man. He since he's been here, he's been his door's been open to all the former players that they can come back and be a part of the program. I've been invited to practice before. Of course, we go to any game, and that meant a lot to me. Just to be a part of that, because we support the program. We as ex-players, we get just as excited as we're fans as well. We're still fans, even though we still played there. But it was a tremendous opportunity. I remember back in '89 when we were invited. We went up to Providence to play. It was a 12 seed back in '89 when we played against North Carolina, a very, very good North Carolina State team. And it just brought back some memories back when I was there. And didn't have the opportunity in 2004 when we went, when Odom was there. But I appreciate the opportunity that Frank gave a lot of us guys to come back and just be a part of the Gamecock family. We are still family, and he just a great guy, man. He opened the doors for us, and he always have made us feel so welcome down there. And it'll be, a privilege to see these guys on Friday win a game.
Joe, who are some of the other former Gamecock players that you saw there yesterday?
Alex is the great Alex is one of the best players of all time here at the University of South Carolina. I think Kerry Rich was there. Just a handful of guys that was there. A lot of them had other obligations. It was so quick. He reached out to a few people that I don't think all of us, had the opportunity to come down. So he did reach out to a lot of people. Some came and some didn't, but it was a good turnout.
All right, Joe, let's talk a little bit more about Marquette before we wrap up today's NCAA tournament preview show. As good as Marquette is offensively, they've got 5 players averaging double figures. They're the top 3-point shooting team in Division I basketball, 43% during the year. Defensively, Joe, this is not a very good basketball team. They were 216th in the nation in field goal percentage defense, and they were even worse than that defending the three. So, Marquette likes to score it. They can certainly score the basketball with anybody, but defensively, they left a lot to be desired this year.
And that's a good sign. That's why I think that's a good matchup for the Gamecocks. If we can go there and play our defense and make them uncomfortable with their well-balanced team, you don't see too many teams with 5 guys averaging double figures. So they are well-balanced, but the good sign to that is defensively they're not that good. So hopefully we just got to get off early and see that ball go in the hole real early. We struggle when we start off slow. I spoke with Sanders yesterday. I was like, dude, you got to go, man. You got to get this team. You can't wait for everybody else. You got to get these guys going early, and that's what I believe he's going to do. Just get these guys going early, and we're a different team. We see that basket going early. You see the domino effect where Nola starts shooting the ball well. PJ goes to the hole. Silver starts doing his thing inside. They get going early. We are a different team. That confidence is up. And I believe that if we can get going early and get a couple of defensive stops early, we should do pretty good on Friday afternoon.
Joe, talk about keys to victory for South Carolina over Marquette. We've talked about, Thornwell, the SEC Player of the Year, how consistent he's been, how steady he's been, how outstanding he's been this year for the Gamecocks. We talked several weeks ago, Joe, about Dwayne Notice and Ra Felder and maybe Justin Mackey. Some of these guys have got to hit some open shots for the Gamecocks to make a run in March. So March is here. Any change in that stance, Joe? Will it be Notice and Felder and Mackey and others that determine how far the Gamecocks are able to go in the tournament?
Yes, it will. The story hasn't changed. Like you say, we know what we're going to get out of Sanders. He's going to get his 20. He's a stat stopper. He's going to get about 6 or 7 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, a couple steals. We know we're going to get out of him, but to me, all those guys at this point in the season, Felder and those guys are not freshmen right now. They've been defined. They've been battle tested all year. So as we hit this reset button, no other person needs to step up. They all need to collectively play well. Meaning PJ, Notice, Silver, even the Gravett. All those guys need to step up and just do. And they've been there. They haven't been to the NCAA, but we've had some games. We had some games where we blew teams out. We had some close games. They're battle tested, like I said, but all of them have to come together so we can win. And in order for us to win that game and look towards the future, we all have to play well together, and just more than just one or two players playing well.
What an exciting day it will be Friday in Greenville. We've got North Carolina and Texas Southern. North Carolina is the number 1 seed in the South Regional, and then it's 8 seed Arkansas against 9 seed Seton Hall. The winners of those two games will meet on Sunday in the round of 32. And also in Greenville on Friday, Duke and Troy in the 2:15 matchup in the East Regional, followed by South Carolina and Marquette in the last game of the day. So 4 games on tap Friday. Joe, Duke is a heavy favorite, obviously, to beat Troy. Duke just rolled through the ACC tournament, winning 4 games in 4 days. Does the South Carolina-Marquette winner have anything for the Duke-Troy winner?
Oh, no doubt. They both do. They're not familiar with each other. They haven't played each other. And I don't know how long it's been, but I'm quite sure it's been a long time that South Carolina played a Duke team. I don't ever recall us playing them. It's tricky. It's funny how I think the NCAA try to set up these matches and these second-round matches. A former player and a former assistant coach for Duke, they're trying to set that match up to be a big story for Duke and Marquette. But hopefully the Gamecocks could spoil that matchup that they're trying to set up. But, this is a new season. Duke is not used to. Of course, they got one of the best coaches in the history of college basketball, Coach K. But, we look for Troy to maybe contend with them early on. But I think Duke will certainly prevail. They're hot right now. They got hot at the right time, which most teams you won't go into this part of the season to be hot. So they're a young team as well. But, the winner of this game, which I believe will be the Gamecocks, will be a good test for us and a good test for this program. And, in tournament time, anything can happen. That's Duke. They've been battle tested. They've been there before. But if we get to that situation on Sunday, hey, Duke has all the pressure on them. We have no pressure. So we need to go play loose, handle our business on Friday night. And hopefully if we do get to that Sunday matchup, all the pressure on Duke, and we can just go out and handle our business and maybe upset and shock the world.
How much will playing in Greenville help the Gamecocks, Joe?
Oh, it's going to help a lot. That's a gym they're familiar with. I believe last year they played Clemson there, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Beat Clemson.
They played them played them very, very well. So that's a tremendous help for the team. They're familiar with the rims. They're familiar with the gym. I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of blue in there with the Duke fans and the North Carolina fans. So there's going to be a lot of blue, but hopefully you'll see a lot of garnet and black on Friday evening.
All right, should be fun. Boy, big day of basketball at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville. South Carolina and Marquette will have the last game of the day on Friday. Again, a 9:50 tip. For that ball game, it'll be on TBS if you're not making the trip up to Greenville, but we do expect a lot of Gamecock fans to be in the house for this NCAA tournament ball game, South Carolina and Marquette. Joe, it's going to be fun, man. We've waited so long, 13 long years, man. A few more hours isn't going to matter, is it?
It's not going to matter. Like you said, it's going to be a long week, but on Friday, I hope that those guys handle business. And hopefully when we talk again next week, we'll be talking Sweet 16. So I look forward to these guys having a good time and going up there and winning 2 ball games so we can get into the Sweet 16.
All right, Joe and I will come back next week. We'll talk more Gamecock basketball with you here. The Gamecocks are dancing, and this is Gamecock Central Radio. For Gamecock legend Joe Rhett, I'm Emerson Phillips. Thanks for being with us.